I gonna call that good. Okay. It is Monday, December 30th of 2024, and I thought that I should probably make a video before the end of the year just to try and actually say that I did do something towards this as well. My New Year's resolution was to do something of note this year, and so I did kind of accomplish that because 2023 I didn't really do anything that I could actually notably say like I did that. It was just kind of a bum year and I felt kind of bad about that. So I have actually done some stuff for myself this year. I've also done I've done stuff this year. I feel better about this year in whole. But I also thought I should maybe make a video as well because I've tried making like 5 or 6 different videos for this channel ever since I made my last upload almost like 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I think. I think it's 3 years ago at this point. But yeah, I thought I would make a video of me making a cheesecake because I made one a few days ago, 6 days ago, for on Christmas Eve. And so it wasn't all too troublesome, everything said and done. The entire process of actually doing it was incredibly annoying. But yeah, I made the cheesecake for my dad as his Christmas present because he likes cheesecake. Previously, I'd just been making him chocolate chip cookies, or yeah, effectively chocolate chip cookies. But the way that I make them is I make like the dough of the chocolate chip cookie, but I don't actually add the chocolate chips in. I just bake the dough by itself, and then I melt down the chocolate chips with some chunky peanut butter, and I spread that on top. So it's kind of like one of those sugar cookies that you get at like the grocery store. Side note, those are one of my favorite kinds of cookies. But yeah, it is a pretty good cookie. He does kind of like it, but I think he is getting a little tired of it. So I decided to change it up a little bit. And I was gonna make so I made him a cheesecake. And in theory, it's not all too difficult. The recipe that I have here, it's only 12 instructions in total. First 4 instructions are for making the crust, and the other 8 are for making the pie or the cake itself, or the filling, I guess. But the crust went all right. The actual like filling bit, that not so well. It says first off, it says that you need to only bake the filling for an hour and a half, or an hour and 15 minutes at 350, so until it's done, and then it'll be done. It also instructs you to wrap the bottom of the pan with aluminum foil, and then put the pan in a 2-inch bath of water so that the top of the cheesecake doesn't crack. So I did that. And mind you, I was also trying to do this like first half of the day before I had to go over to the celebration on my mother's side of the family. But yeah, then it also, after you bake it for the hour and 15 minutes, you're supposed to leave it in the oven as it cools to finish baking. So I did all of that. I wrapped the bottom of the pan in the foil. I put it in the 2 inches of water. I baked it for the hour and 15 minutes. I turned off the oven. I left it in there to cool. I went off to my mother's side of the family stuff. Got home, pulled it out of the oven. The recipe also says that the cake is going to be a little jiggly or slightly wiggly. So the cake was still a bit wiggly when I got home at that point, and I thought it was good. So I put it in the fridge. And then 4 hours later, when it had properly cooled, I pulled it out, and it was still really wiggly. And I'm like, maybe that's fine. So I started cutting it. And then I found out that it was raw, still like raw in the center, because it only cooked on the outside because it didn't heat up enough. The 1 hour is not long enough. Also, the bottom of the cake was also incredibly soggy. And I'm like, that's not great. But I also found this out after I had already fully cut it. So I got to squeeze everything back into the springform pan and then put it back in the oven. After I also had to reheat the oven and then let it bake for another hour and then let it cool down inside the oven again. So it's actually 2 hours of baking to fully cook a cheesecake with this recipe. So I got to be up until about 4:30 on Christmas morning making a cheesecake for my dad. Now I know what to actually do. I'm not going to put this in a 2 inches of water. I'm going to have the water on a rack below it, so it can kind of steam. I don't know if that'll actually help or not, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put it in the water, and hopefully it should be a lot better this time. But yeah, enough exposition. Let's actually, I guess, kind of get into it. The recipe says you need 2 cups of graham crackers, or graham cracker crumbs. So this is some of the graham cracker crumbs that were left over from the first time making it, but also the remaining sleeve of graham crackers that were in the box. Turns out a sleeve of graham crackers makes around 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, and I need 2 cups of graham crackers for the crust. I also need 7 tablespoons. Yeah, that's tablespoons. 7 tablespoons of butter. And then also 1/3 cup of sugar. Also, the butter needs to be melted, so we will get into that. But I'm also going to combine that in my food processor, which I have just out of frame here. Wow. So, why am I putting it on that scale? I don't really need to show all this, but that's what I'm doing. So, And I'm doing this in the food processor because it's supposed to be like really fine crumbs, at least that's my understanding, or at least that's like my experience from eating cheesecake, is that it's really fine crumbs on the bottom. So I did crush these. They are fine, but there's also still like quite a few like kind of larger chunks, and I want them to be smaller, so we're gonna put them in the food processor. And also just easiest, I don't need to justify it, but we're doing that. It was actually a little bit more than 1.5 cups of crumbs from graham crackers from a single sleeve, I think. I'm not quite sure how the math worked out. Around 4 cups of graham cracker crumbs from 3 sleeves of graham crackers. Can I even get that math to work in my head? Am I in tune enough to do that? 4 cups of graham crackers from 3 sleeves. That's 3. 1 1/3. Wow. 1 1/3 cups of graham crackers from 3 sleeves. Amazing. So this is a little too many graham crackers, but it doesn't matter. And then 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Also, I hope that the sounds of this wrestling isn't too loud, but that's okay. I don't really know why I'm doing this here, because I still need to melt the butter, but yeah, it's gross. Okay, cut here. Okay, and the butter has been melted for 30 seconds. And it got really hot on that. I need a spatula. Spatula. Also, I use salted butter. The recipe doesn't really specify if you're supposed to or not, but that's what I'm doing. Also, when I made the other cheesecake, I didn't really get to taste it all too much because I was making it for my dad. So I'm also I got to taste it a little bit when I was trying to cut it. I like lifting off the knife, but yeah. Wow, we're gonna say that's good. Springform pan. So I lined the bottom of this with some parchment paper. When I did this previously, when I made this on Christmas Eve, I cut the parchment paper into a circle and then kind of wrapped it up the sides of the pan. I think that's partially what contributed to the bottom of the cake being really moist. And so when I put it back in the oven the second time, I actually had cut through the parchment paper because I was trying to like cut out 1/4 of it so that my dad could freeze the remaining 3/4 and then just have like that 1/4 to eat immediately, and then so it didn't go bad, whatnot. But yeah, when I was doing that, some of the butters ended up dripping down. Well, actually, just some moisture and butter dripped out the bottom, and I think that kind of helped fully bake the rest of it. So I'm not concerned about stuff dripping at the bottom, but also this will help just remove it off the tray too. Oh, off the bottom of this pan. Yeah, I just kind of put this on, I laid the parchment paper flat on top and then kind of crunched it in the bottom and then snapped it shut and then snipped it. But yeah, I'm supposed to make this I am now supposed to spread this as an even layer on the bottom of the pan. I love how my head complicates stuff. And then also a cup to kind of try crushing stuff down to make it flat. That's what I did the other time, that's what I'm doing again. Also, having the parchment paper clamped in between the bottom of the pan and the sides also makes it so it doesn't slide around when you're trying to spread it out. Because that was really annoying when I made this last time. You can't really see any of this. I'm going to fast forward through all of this. My dryer just finished, so now I can have a washcloth to wipe off my hands. And then also, once I have this flattened down, I'm supposed to bake this for 8 minutes. The bottom was a little thick last time, but it's fine. This is very satisfying to do, though. Ta-da! Okay, and now to put it in the oven. Also just double check the time. 8 minutes. Hey Siri, set timer for 8 minutes.
8 minutes, starting now. Eight-minute and 8-minute timers.
Alright. It has now baked for 8 minutes. I put this off to the side. On that, I probably should not. I don't. Mixing bowl. Hand mixer, that's what those are called. From Goodwill that I've had for 3 years now. I've had it for a while. 5 things of cream cheese that are supposed to be room temperature, but I kind of pulled them out of the refrigerator a little bit too late, so they are still kind of cold, but that's okay. I can just put these in the microwave for a little bit if I'm really interested in doing that, but I think I might, yeah. In the body of a high-power blender, food processor, and or stand mixer fitted with the whisk attachment, or in a large bowl using a handheld mixer, beat the softened cream cheese until completely smooth, scraping the bowl as needed. I also got this mixing bowl I got this bowl specifically for this purpose. I've had a mixing bowl before. I have had a bowl that works for mixing. It's a large green plastic one. And I thought I should probably get like a glass one just to be fancy and also potentially not introduce microplastics into everything that I make. So yeah, I got this. It was on sale by a whole $1. Hopefully it doesn't shatter during this. I don't figure it would. Okay, so we're gonna put that there. Yeah, we're gonna microwave this for a bit. Whee! Okay, so that did soften a little bit. I don't have any of the sugar. Is that too much? Maybe, but that's okay. So now we just mix this. You can tell I am very organized with everything that I do. This is working so well. We're gonna call that good. From when I did this last time, this didn't really smooth down until I added the sugar, which I need to add 1.5 cups of sugar. And a little bit more than a half, that's okay, looks good enough. Okay. It softens up quite a bit once you actually mix in the sugar, which is like, it's almost like sugar is a bit of an emulsifier. Not 100% sure of what that is, but I think it's that sugar is an emulsifier. And then also, I need to add some vanilla. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. It's imitation vanilla, which is what I used for the other one. Also, this bottle of vanilla is almost like 5 years old at this point. I've had it for quite a while. I got another bottle of vanilla extract because I thought like this one was almost running out. And then that's been sitting unopened on my counter for 2 years. But we're almost done with this one. There's some solids in it. It's gonna be fine. And now we scrape it again. Whoop. And now it tastes like cream cheese and sugar and vanilla. I mean, that's like 90% of the way towards a cheesecake. And then one of the most expensive parts of this, not really, but like, doing this at the end of 2024 kind of was a bit of a dumb idea. There's the bird flu going around with a lot of animals, and that's now starting to kind of go over to humans as well, so hopefully that doesn't turn into another pandemic. Oregon, in the start of 2024, mandated that all eggs sold in the state should be cage-free. I appreciate that. But apparently the bird flu has been ravaging a lot of the cage-free farms, so egg prices in the state of Oregon, I think actually just in general, but like specifically here, because I have no idea, a single, one 12-pack of eggs is now $5. Like, it's fine, I guess. It's just, it's expensive. Eggs used to only be like $2, $1.50 for a 12-pack. All right, but yeah, so enough of that. I need to mix these into, so I need 5 large eggs and then 3 large egg yolks. Also, these are supposed to be room temperature, but if I forgot to warm this up, that's okay. I do appreciate just how smooth it starts getting once you like start adding everything in. Also just cracking them into the cup so I don't get eggshells. I don't know why I was worrying about this, about the bowl potentially cracking earlier. Used glass mixing bowls my entire life. I don't know, I'm gonna shut up. Also, yes, this entire cake is going to be for me, well, and also one of my friends, but yeah. Because I wanted to make a video of making my dad's, but yeah, because of that, I didn't really have the time to make the video. So now we're making the video against this. I also just always kind of planned on making 2 cheesecakes, one for myself and one for my dad, because I like cheesecake, and I haven't made myself a cheesecake before, and yeah. Honestly, the sound of the mixer hitting against the side of the bowl is somewhat satisfying. Also, I hope that this isn't clipping the entire time that I'm doing this, but that's okay. And now we just need to get the egg yolks. Woo. We're gonna say that's separated enough. Also, just because of how messy this is, we are going to be doing all 3 egg yolks at the same time. I know I'm not really supposed to, but that's okay. And I also do understand that there's a point to mixing everything in as you go, like doing the eggs one at a time to make sure that stuff doesn't like separate or congeal weirdly. This will be fine again. At least I'm telling myself it's okay. Okay. See, now if as a bodybuilder I would drink this, but I'm not a bodybuilder, so I'm not gonna drink that. I could have been more graceful, but it's okay. And I also still need to mix in the cream. Yeah, 1/2 cup of heavy cream at room temperature. So we're gonna microwave this. Okay, well it is at least warmer. So 1/2 cup. Yeah. We're gonna scrape down the bowl a little bit more. This is everything I need. Yeah, and we had 5 blocks of cream cheese, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, 5 large eggs, 3 large yolks, and a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. So we're good. And also try not to push this off the side of the table. That would be horrendous to spill all this on the floor. So yeah, that should be good. And then I'm gonna try seeing if I can get some of the air bubbles out of this. I don't really need to, but I don't really think we're going to get much bubbles out of this, but that's okay. Spring-formed pan, again with the crust inside. We're just going to go. And then also, again, in the recipe, it does say that you're supposed to like wrap the bottom of the pan with some aluminum foil, and then put this in a bath of water. I'm not going to do that, but what I did do is put one of my other pans in the oven, and it has some water in that, so it can kind of like steam the oven. And I also have it directly underneath this to try catching any drips if they do occur, just because there was some butter that dripped out the bottom. But also just with how full this is, it's like right at the brim, I am concerned about this potentially like spilling over as it's cooking. It will be fine. I will put this in the oven. Yeah, we're gonna do an hour and a half at the very least, and then check on it again. And we'll get this all cleaned up. So, very precariously. Hey Siri, set a timer for an hour and a half.
1 hour and 30 minutes, starting now.
I wonder if the water is just gonna start boiling because it is a 350-degree oven. Hey Siri, what is the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit? 212?
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
What is the boiling point of water?
It's 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, yeah, 212. I mean, it is water if that ends up boiling over, but yeah, it'll be fine. Well, actually, one more thing. We're gonna make the not emaciated. What is it called when you mix strawberries with sugar and have the strawberry sugar syrup stuff?
A mixture of strawberries and sugar that creates a syrup.
Macerated.
Referred to as macerated strawberries.
Macerated strawberries. We're gonna make macerated strawberries just because we can. I have these strawberries. They've been sitting around for a while. I got them so I could start making smoothies, but then I forgot just how much of an annoyance it is to actually clean up my blender cup. I've had these sitting around for a while. So we're gonna make strawberries mixed with syrup. Also, it would be a little bit better if these were like cut up, but as it stands, these are whole strawberries. And then we're just gonna go. We're gonna call that good. So, you know, with everything going, I figure I can actually kind of talk about how my year's been, everything like that. My New Year's resolution this year was to kind of do anything of note. Yeah, just anything of note. Because 2023, I didn't really do much. At least I didn't really feel like I did much. And so I rounded up the year by kind of feeling a little dejected and like not very happy with myself. Like I didn't feel like I had done much. So yeah, again, New Year's resolution was to do anything of note. So I think I kind of did that. I went and got my eyes tested. Well, I finally enrolled myself for vision insurance. But yeah, I got my eyes tested. Turns out I have an astigmatism, so now I have glasses. When they were doing my eye test, the doctor who was doing it, they were a medical student, I think it was. They did well enough, but when they were doing my left eye, one of the settings was really good, and they went on to the next one. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of worse. But then they didn't actually like go back and change that or anything. So my right eye is like almost spot on, but my left eye is kind of off. But it works well enough. My vision insurance gives me free testing and free glasses once every 12 months, so I get to go back in April and have them retested again. Rounding up 2023, I actually went to go to the dentist for the first time in like 5 years or something like that. I went for a cleaning and they said that my teeth were a lot cleaner than they would have been expecting for someone who hadn't had a dental cleaning in quite a while. But they did also find like a few cavities or like what could turn into cavities. The dentist gave me some like fluoride toothpaste so that like I could try like recalcifying. I think it's recalcifying, I don't know, but like filling in the cavities. But then she booked me in for a filling, and so yeah, did the left side of my mouth first, ground out those teeth and then filled them. Then we were doing the right side of my mouth a few months later, and it got to a point where like one of the cavities is like really close to like the root, I guess. So she kept going and it was giving me a lot of discomfort. And then my dentist asked me, so is this like, have they been bothering you? I'm like, no, not really. I'm just doing whatever you told me to. She gave me almost the look of like, well then why the fuck are we doing this? But then she told me I need to go for a root canal just so that they can like put me under or like fully anesthetize me. But I need to go book a full panoramic x-ray so that they can see where like the nerve endings are. But I think I need to wait until 2025, like until January, wait another 2 days until my insurance coverage for the x-rays from my dental insurance, until that kind of renews or like clears out. Because it said 2 calendar years. So I think that just means like I got it at the end of 2023, so I should be end of 2024 should be the end of the. I don't know. I need to call them, but I haven't done that yet. After that, after I get that done, after I get the root canals, then I'm also gonna try. I want my wisdom teeth pulled, and then I also want to get braces, but we're not quite there. We're gonna get to that road and get to that bridge at some point. I also turn my box into a shelf here. I 3D printed the things that are like kind of holding this up. It's held on with some double-sided like foam tape, and for the most part, it is working on this side just fine. But then this other side is kind of starting to peel off a little bit, so I do need to like take this down and redo that, but I haven't done that quite yet. Also, it looks kind of crooked in this video, but it is actually like straight up, and it is horizontal. I know that it is. I used a level. Oh yeah, I also finally got tested for ADHD, and my psychiatrist said, yeah, you have that. So I'm on the medication to handle that, and I can't tell you how many people in my social circle that kind of upset that I'm using medication to handle it. And I'm like, you saw how I was handling it without medication, and it wasn't really working for me, so now I'm on that. But I've also gone back to school school, finished up my first term, or the first term back. I took Pre-Calculus 2, Technical Writing 1, and Pre-Calculus 2. And I got a B- in the math, I got a plus, or I got a 97% in the writing. And then I've registered for the next round of classes as well. That's going to be Computer Science 163 again, Math 251 again. And then also, they've also changed the requirements for the Bachelor's of Computer Science. I don't have to do like a sophomore inquiry or like the university study stuff. I only have to do 2 credits of that, which I've already done, like 2 classes of that, which I've already done. So now I have to take a lab or like a general sciences class, which I guess kind of makes sense. So I'm doing Dynamic Earth Interior, Geology. Hopefully we don't fail the classes again this time. Yeah, I'm just completely out of focus. We are going to see how it goes. I haven't really gotten more plants. I ended up killing some of my plants. I haven't actually gotten 2 more. I got one of these things, whatever that's called. Can't really see that. That's kind of in focus there. It's one of those ones, the succulent that kind of, there's 2 kind of lobes that kind of, yeah. Kind of like that, and then I got another cactus thing. And then I've also repotted some of my plants. A lot, I wanted to make a video of those, but then I just really, I noticed how kind of sad my plants were, so I just did that without videoing it. And then I also got a left-handed mechanical keyboard. It's left-handed in the sense that the arrow keys are on the left-hand side, and then the numpad is also on the left-hand side as well. I kind of like it. And I think that's really all I can recap. I also got my license. I don't think I mentioned that in a video. I got my license. My sister helped me drive. Helped me like with the learning to drive and everything. I lost 9 points on the driving test. Going around a corner, there was a bus at the bus stop, and that was like right after the corner. So I didn't want to turn right behind the bus and then immediately change lanes again, so I just turned into the far lane, so that lost me 3 points. Then doing the parallel parking stop, that's supposed to like you just pull in and then like parallel park. I didn't signal going into it, but I signaled going out of it. And then I was also going 25 and a 15 because one block was the speed sign said 25, and then 2 blocks later the speed sign said 15. So yeah, I missed points on that. But yeah, I got my license. I don't have a car, but I got my license. I will get a car at some point. But I got my license, which also means I don't have to renew my permit every 2 years, which should be a little bit cheaper on that too. Otherwise, I'm just kind of living, I guess. Are we still in focus? Yeah, okay. Well, it is now the next day, December 31st. I had a friend over last night, so we already had some of this. It turned out a little bit darker on the outside than I was like kind of expecting. Like the one that I made for my dad on Christmas Eve was somewhat similarly dark, but this is just a little bit darker than I was properly expecting. The top did manage to stay together for the most part. On this edge, the back edge here, was starting to kind of fall off a little bit, like kind of cleaved over the side. So, I mean, there was that. It did puff up almost like half an inch or so while it was inside the oven. And yeah, it is at least fully cooked. However, it has a slightly cooked eggs taste to it, which I was talking with my mother today. I went over to visit her, and she said that, yeah, the water bath is for that. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, no, it tastes very good. The bottom of the crust is maybe a little crumbly, but I mean, that is, I guess, expected for a graham cracker crust. But like I inhaled it and I had a cough. Made the macerated strawberries. This has also been kind of sitting for a day. I also kept shaking it to try breaking them up a little bit. It kind of worked, but they are still relatively larger chunks in it. But yeah, very good. So I guess I will plate it and do a close-up and everything like that. Actually, I'm going to do the close-up while I'm plating it. So let me get that adjusted. Bottom section, like the very central section there, it is cooked, but it's a little bit softer than the rest of the cake. I also kept calling this a pie when I was talking with my friend last night, so that was fun. I mean, it effectively is very close to a pie. It got a crust, it's got a filling. It should just be called a pie. There, that looks bad. We're gonna go with that. Also, I was calling these macerated strawberries. My mother got upset with that too. They're macerated, not emascerated. I also kept saying emaciated when I was talking with my friend last night. They are strawberries in some sense. Oh, I don't know if that really looks all too great. Now we're gonna go with that. That really could have been better. Oh god, that looks so bad. I mean, it's a cheesecake. It's got strawberries and whipped cream on it. I mean, I'm showcasing it. That's all that it matters, I guess. But it's very good. It's a cheesecake. Also, it was a little upsetting last night when I was eating this. Hi. I was kind of eating this front to back, and I wasn't really paying attention to it, and then it fell backwards and dumped the strawberry all over my carpet. But I have a wet dry vac. Or an upholstery vacuum. Is it an upholstery vacuum? That's what I'm going to call it. So I spent like 10 minutes doing that. But yeah, enough rambling. I guess Happy New Year's. We're going to do this final shot with nothing else. Does that even look good? I have my TV set I have my camera plugged into my TV, and then everything is going on behind that. Oh, my camera's been crooked for this shot too. You can tell I have never done product photography. That's where I'm going to leave it. Happy New Year's. Here's to 2025. I don't have a New Year's resolution picked out quite yet. I will figure that out at some point. I think I fulfilled my New Year's resolution for 2024. At least I feel happy with this year so far. I guess I could go to absolute shit in the last 5.5 hours. 5 hours and 20 minutes. But so far, pretty good. Okay. Enough rambling. Goodbye. Do I want to end it like that? I'm not going to end it like that. Goodbye. I have a fan. Yeah. I'm in focus over here. This is interesting. It's like along that entire line. Huh. Okay. Still cricket in the shot, but we're gonna call it good enough. Okay. This is really kind of upsetting me, though. Is my tripod just falling? I think that's where that is. It doesn't really matter, but okay. Yeah. Goodbye. Happy New Year's. Shut up.